G'day. Today's brew, I've got a brew, is an extract brew again. I'm running out of beer, Christmas is coming, I'm doing an all grain brew in a couple of days, but I need beer. Visitors, stuff like that, will be drinking my beer, so I need some more. I went hunting through the cupboards to see what extract stuff I had left. I had a few, had a Brew Enhancer 2, and a couple of light dry malts. And I had no concentrate extract tins though, and so I put my head together, and thought I chucked all that in Beersmith, and it wasn't quite enough. I didn't have much money, but for I got another pack of this. Dan Murphy's is a good place to buy it, less than $5. I think it was $4.80 or something. My brew shop was too far away. I go there on Saturday to pick up my grain, but I had to get this brew done. And I thought that another good reason to do this is that I haven't brewed a beer out of pure dried extract. I've used it plenty of times in my extract beers, but usually there's always some form of liquid extract. I'd rather use fresh liquid extract, but I haven't got the choice today, and I thought it would be a good experiment because a lot of people, there's always arguments between what's better, liquid or dry. Personally, I like liquid. Fresh liquid I think's better, but if you can't get fresh liquid, the next best thing's your dry malt extract. So I'm going to have to do a 60-minute boil, and you put all these ingredients in, stacks of them. So it's 1.5 kilos of light dry malt, so I'll do a 15-litre boil with that, and I'll add the BE2 right near the end. I'm going to use Pride of Ringwood hops for bittering, and I found some hops I had left over that I'm just going to chuck in for the last 30 seconds or so of the boil, just to maybe give it a bit of flavour. It sort of sits in the blonde ale range, or Australian pale ale, and hopefully the hops at the end will just give it a little bit more flavour. What did I find? Nelson and Citra, 15 grams of each. I'm just going to chuck in right at the end, just for a bit of aroma. Yeah, so I just want to be able to see if I can tell the difference between a liquid extract and dry extract, and just see how it turns out. So in the end, even though it's just a cheap swill beer for me, it'll be a nice little experiment for me also, just to test the difference in taste between a liquid malt extract beer and a purely dried malt extract beer. For that reason, I'm actually going to use the Coopers yeast. I'll use 2 packets of Coopers yeast that I also have hanging around, just to test it. I don't want to go using a flash yeast, just a normal Coopers yeast, and we'll see how it goes. This brew could easily be done on a stove. Today I'm not doing it on a stove. My brewing gear's set up for the weekend for my all grain, so I'm just going to use my boil pot here in the shed and my chiller to save me some time, and so I don't mess up the kitchen too much. So we'll get to it, eh? So I have 15 litres of water. I'm just going to bring up to the boil in the boil pot. So we're nearly at the boil. I'm just going to turn the elements off while I stir the light dry malt in. And I'll start putting it in. turn the elements back on. So we're just about to come to the boil. I'll end up turning one of these elements off, or if you're doing this on your stove, you can control the boil. You might ask why I'm not doing a full boil. Well, the reason I'm doing 15 litres is so, yeah, it could be done on a stove easily in a cheap stock pot. Now I've got that to a nice rolling boil, I'll add my 22 grams of Pride of Ringwood hops. Now I set the timer for an hour, and just about a minute before that hour's up, I'll add the flavour hops. Okay, there's 1 minute left of the boil. Just going to add my bit of aroma, tiny bit of flavour hops. 15 grams of Nelson, 15 grams of Citra. Just got to have them sitting around. Okay, that's time up. Unplug the element. We're going to stir the bag of BE2 in while I do my whirlpool. Now just stir for a couple of minutes, try and get a whirlpool happening to try and help the tube settle in the middle away from the pickup tube. Otherwise, if you're doing it on the stove, you'd just start chilling it off straight away and you just pour the whole lot into your fermenter. Or you could steep your hops in there for 10 minutes, put a lid on it before you do that. I'm just trying to keep some of the hops out because I'll be kegging this. Most will settle to the bottom of the fermenter anyway, without a problem, especially after I crash chill it. That should do it. Put the lid on and start the chilling process. If you've seen my other videos before, you'll see my homemade counterflow chiller. There's a sterilised, sanitised fermenter ready to go. I'll just get it going. Okay, that's running now. Not much to see from here. Hot wort is going in there. It's hot, and it comes out chilled here. Well, coolish. Hooked up to me tap. Wort, it's a bit light coloured, but he's coming down there, going down the side of the fermenter, you can see. Melbourne summer. Lovely. Alright, we're done. You can see the pile of hops, that's why I whirlpooled. Most of the hops stayed in the middle There's a pile out of the wort down there, if you can see it. I have a bit of loss because of my chiller and what's left in the boil pot. I've got around 13 litres. Now I'm going to top that up to 20 litres just with cold water out of the tap, like you do any other extract beer. Let's take the lid off. That's star sand in there, so there's nothing to worry about. Top this up to 20. Give that a good stir. If you're worried about aeration, nothing wrong with the whisk. That's just been in star sand too. It should be okay because we've splashed it around a bit. We've added that extra cold water. That'll put enough oxygen in there for the yeast. I'll leave the spoon in there because I like to stir the yeast in a bit. Some people do, some people don't. That now goes into the fermenting fridge till it's the right temperature to pitch yeast. It should be pretty close. It'll actually come out at about 43, which is a little bit higher than what Beersmith estimated, but that's okay. Anyway, cheers. That's my hightail ale clone. It's not a bad drop. It needs a bit more hops, a bit more cascade in it. So as I said, that's just in the fermenting fridge now, coming down to temperature for yeast. It's nearly there, just got to drop a couple of degrees. I like to pitch around 18 degrees, 19 degrees. Besides that, it's very easy. It's a good experiment. I'm looking forward to see how it turns out. As I said, it's going to be a bit of a blonde ale. It's going to be very light. It'll be only about 4.5%, if that. But that's what I want for summer, for Christmas. Everyone comes round, they can down, when it's hot, they can down as, you know, a few and not have to worry. I'm just going to pitch 2 packs of regular Coopers yeast that I save, because usually I use other yeast. As I said, for this experiment, I'm just going to use Coopers yeast. And that's about it. In 10 days to a fortnight, I'll keg it up. You can bottle it, and that'll be it. I'll do a tasting and show you how it turned out. And as I said at the start, this recipe can easily be done on the stove. In Australia, in Big W, you can buy a $20, it's about 20 litre, 19 litre stock pot, which, I don't know if you can see it actually. Oh, there it is, it's up there on the fridge, over there. This could easily have been brewed in that, on the stove, but as I said, I wanted to keep the kitchen clean today. And then you just chill it however you normally chill. Ice bath, cold water, ice, whatever you use. That'll do it. Cheers. Merry Christmas if you're watching it by then.